Hey everybody, I am back today with another 80/20 layout with Natalie. So Natalie and I decided that for this month's 80/20 we were going to choose a sketch. And actually that turned into us choosing sketches to use for the next 3 months. So this one is, all the sketches are ones that Natalie chose. She got them from, I don't know, Pinterest maybe. Maybe she'll link them up in her video. This one looks super fun, but there's definitely like some mixed media going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a craft background, and then I'm just going to add some plain white acrylic paint. So what I'm going to do is I have a paintbrush here, and I'm just kind of whiting out the center portion of the paper, and that's going to give me a nice area to layer on top. So I didn't go with a lot of colors for the mixed media that's in the sketch for the background. I just went with some simple white acrylic paint, and then I used a craft base. So I'm just taking my finger. You know, sometimes your finger is the best. And I am just going to go ahead and white out kind of like almost a triangular type of area, which is what is kind of shown on the sketch. And then I'm just going to go ahead and water down some more of that white acrylic paint. I'm going to grab a fan brush and I'm going to splatter, 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 and splatter. And then I'm going to go ahead and set this aside to dry. While my background dries, I'm going to go ahead and add lots of matted layers around my photo. The products I'm going to be working with for today's layout are the last little bits of a Felicity Jane kit. I think the kit is called Harper, and I don't have much of it left. It was a fall kit, maybe from last year, but it could have been the year before. I love Felicity Jane kits, but I have a bit of a rule with them. I know, but you have to have rules. Sometimes you have to have rules to help to make sure that your stash does not become overwhelming. And that rule is that I will not buy a new Felicity Jane kit until I've completely killed one. And so this is actually going to be my last layout using this Harper collection. So it is killed. And that means that the next time a Felicity Jane kit catches my eye, I can buy. I even used some of the awesome scalloped polka dot tissue paper that your kit is wrapped in when you order a Felicity Jane kit. I love that aspect. I love the scalloped edge. So I kept the scalloped edge, added one of my layers to be some tissue paper. And then this layer, so this is actually the bottom of a page, but I'm going to incorporate some of the branding strip into my bottom layer. I think this is the last layer. Yeah, this is the last layer that I put on my page. Initially, I had thought I was going to go ahead and ink using some Hickory Smoke Distress Oxide ink, but I changed my mind. This is my last full sheet of 12 by 12 paper in this collection. It's one of the solid colored cardstocks that came in the kit. So I'm going to go ahead and tear a strip because the sketch shows like papers and embellishments and things running in this kind of triangular shape from the top to the bottom of the page. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of play with those layers, and I'm going to use both sides of this solid colored pattern paper or solid colored cardstock and use it to add those torn layers. So these layers are going to go from the top to the bottom, and it's almost like they're going to pull your eye down to the photo. That's how the sketch is designed. So I really, really am loving how this is looking so far. I feel like the products match my photo, and I love the craft cardstock with that white acrylic paint. This is a mixed media thing that anybody can do. My acrylic paint comes from Walmart, so it's not hard or difficult, and you could, if you don't like craft, you could always use something else. So you could use a paper that you could use a different colored background with a white acrylic paint, and it adds such a lovely kind of pop of contrast to a photo. So mixed media does not have to be hard. This is a really, really easy way to just add a bit of that painterly feel to your layouts. and it looks really, really great. So I'm just going to go ahead and adhere down this little center strip. You saw that I did add some of the black and white pattern to my layers. As you can see in the photo, my niece is wearing a black and white striped shirt that really matches that one pattern paper. So I knew I wanted to use that pattern paper in addition to the rest of the kit. Okay, next up, I'm going to get my photo in place, and then one of the embellishments that I still had from this kit were these black and white kind of doodly frames. And so I decided that I would go ahead and cut them in half and then tuck them in and around different spots on my layout. And then I can use the open space around on the inside of the frames to fill with different kinds of embellishments. Things like I'm going to use some flair from Dotty About Flair. I'm going to use some of the die cuts from the kit, a couple of different things to kind of add to these sections where I put the frames. So the frames are like the base of what will be my clusters. So I had just a couple of die cuts left from this collection, but then I also had this set of they were like square little tags. And I decided I was going to use those. So you can see I placed one underneath the bird die cut just to have a place for the bird to sit. I'm going to I kind of used them in ways where they just added color behind. You can see them here. I'm kind of flicking through them. I didn't use them all. I had a lot of them left over. I had this one that had this pretty flower, black and white flower. It worked. It fit right into one of those little frames. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little flare to each of these clusters. The flares that I'm using are from Dotty About Flair. If you've never shopped with Dotty About Flair, you should. I love their flare. I have been, I think I was just on a flare kick, because I think this is the second or third layout that I used flare on when I did this kind of crafting. When I crafted and created this layout, I created a couple in the crafting session. So I am going to keep my title really simple. I'm just going to make the title Us, the two of us, and not even the two of us, just us. And I'm going to add the little ampersand up at the top, mostly because I had a lot of letters, but everything I could think of that I wanted to spell, I didn't have letters for, and I really didn't want to go digging through my stash. I wasn't in the mood for die cutting letters that day, so this is what we went with, and it worked. Next up, the sketch shows a lot of stitching. So what I did was I had purchased these Ellie's Studio acetate stitch stickers. So they're clear stickers with stitch marks on them. They kind of just blend it right in. You can't even tell that they're a sticker, really. And I decided to give them a try and go ahead and add those to the top and bottom of my layout. I guess I just wasn't in the mood to stamp, which is kind of funny because I did pull a set of stamps out and some ink that matched, but then when it was time for me to go ahead and start creating, I just was not feeling it. So sometimes that happens, I guess. I'm going to go ahead and just add all of those stitching stickers down, and then I'm going to go through to each of these clusters, adhere everything down. I attach my Dotty About Flair to my page using tabby dots from Spiegel Mom Scraps. Love tabby dots from Spiegel Mom Scraps. Next up, I wanted to go ahead and add the year, definitely 100%. Add the year to your photos. At the very least, if you don't want to add a whole date stamp, you can at least add the year. So I dipped into my letter stickers real quick because I knew I had these kind of puffy Felicity Jane stickers. And I had 2 twos, which I didn't have in the gold ones. So next up, I just want to add some more stitching to the top of the layout using those Ellie's Studio stickers. And that's where we're going to call this one done. Be sure to head over and check out what Natalie has for you using this exact same sketch. Her layout is really colorful and fun. I think you guys will really, really like it. And I will see you all again tomorrow for Maggie Holmes Monday.